I won't hesitate to call the cops if you ever raise your voice at my son again. Those words cut through me like a knife I never saw coming. My own wife. In my own house. Threatening to have me arrested for, what? Confronting her son about stealing $500 from her purse? My name is Ethan Walker. I'm 34 years old, a software consultant, and up until 3 minutes ago, I thought I was building a real family. I met Hannah 3 years ago at a charity fundraiser. She was a widow, or so I thought at the time, with a son who just turned 11. Jonathan. Sweet kid back then. Quiet. A little withdrawn, but I figured that came with losing his father. Hannah told me James died in a car accident when Jonathan was 8. I found out 2 years into our marriage that was a lie. James didn't die. He just left. Walked out on Christmas morning and never came back. Hannah told Jonathan his father was dead because she thought it would hurt less than the truth. I married Hannah 14 months after we met. Paid for the wedding in full, $30,000 at a vineyard she'd dreamed about since she was a girl. I bought this house 2 months before the ceremony. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a backyard with enough space for the swing set I installed myself. I put only my name on the deed because my financial advisor suggested it for tax purposes, and Hannah said she didn't care about paperwork stuff. She just wanted a fresh start. Now here we are. Hannah standing between me and Jonathan, her hand actually hovering over her phone like I'm some kind of threat. Her son, the kid I've fed, clothed, driven to school every morning for 3 years, is crying those fake tears he's perfected. I know they're fake because 30 seconds ago before Hannah walked through that door, he was smirking at me. Actually smirking. Hannah, I say, keeping my voice level, I caught him with $500 from your purse. He wasn't borrowing it. He was stealing it. I don't care, she snaps. You don't get to yell at him like that. I wasn't yelling. My voice was raised, sure, but I wasn't yelling. There's a difference. But I can see it in her eyes. She's not hearing me. She's hearing someone else. Someone from her past. I've seen this look before, usually late at night when she wakes up from nightmares she won't talk about. I take a breath. My hands are shaking, but I keep them at my sides. Yeah. My bad, I say quietly. Hannah blinks. She wasn't expecting that. Neither was Jonathan, whose crying hitches for just a second before he remembers to keep it going. I turn and walk toward our bedroom, leaving them both standing in the living room. Behind me, I hear Hannah whisper something to Jonathan, her voice softening into that maternal comfort I've heard 1,000 times. Never directed at me. Always at him. Inside the bedroom, I stand in front of my closet. My heart is pounding. I can hear my pulse in my ears. 3 years. 3 years of sacrifice, of trying to be the father Jonathan never had, of loving Hannah through her walls and her silence and her midnight panic attacks. And it took her exactly 4 seconds to choose him over me. Not because he was right. Not because I was wrong. But because he cried first. I pull out the manila folder from the top shelf. Next to it, my laptop. And finally, the small black box I've kept hidden for 2 years. I haven't looked inside it since the day I put it there. My hands hesitate on the lid, then I grab it anyway. When I walk back into the living room, Hannah and Jonathan are sitting on the couch. She's stroking his hair. He's leaning into her, face buried in her shoulder. They both look up when they hear my footsteps. I set everything on the dining table. The folder. The laptop. The box. I don't sit down. What is all this? Hannah asks. Her voice has that edge again, like I'm about to do something unreasonable. I open the laptop first. Pull up a spreadsheet I've been keeping since month 2 of our marriage. Family Investments 2021 to 2024. The title reads. I turn the screen toward her. Please, before I continue, kindly like, share and subscribe for more interesting videos. Before we talk, I say, keeping my voice steady, I need to know something, Hannah. Whose house is this? She hesitates. It's ours? I shake my head. No. Check the deed. My name. Bought in full before we married. Paid every mortgage, utility, repair for 3 years. I need you both to understand something. You're in my house. Jonathan's face goes pale. He shifts away from Hannah slightly, and I catch something in his expression I've never seen before. Fear. Not of me. Of something else. Hannah's eyes well up, but she stays silent. I slide the laptop closer to her. The numbers are right there. Line by line. Month by month. Jonathan's private school tuition. $42,000 over 3 years. His braces, $6,000. The therapy sessions Hannah insisted he needed after he started acting out in 6th grade, $18,000. Family vacations to Disney, to the beach house in Carolina, to Hannah's sister's wedding in Colorado, $23,000. Hannah's car payments after her Honda broke down, 15,000. Groceries, clothes, medical bills, birthday parties, summer camps. $127,000 in 3 years. I didn't know it was this much, Hannah whispers. You never asked, I reply. Not cruel. Just factual. A text notification pops up on my laptop screen. I glance at it before closing the window. It's from Marcus, my former business partner. Still interested in the Singapore deal? New investor backed out. You're my first call. Hannah sees it too. Her face changes. Ethan. 2 years ago, I interrupt, Marcus offered me a $2.3 million expansion deal in Singapore. Partnership in a tech startup. Ground floor. I turned it down because you begged me not to move Jonathan during his difficult phase. You said he needed stability. Hannah covers her mouth. She remembers. I can see it in her eyes. That fight we had in this very room, her crying, telling me Jonathan couldn't handle another change, that moving would destroy him. I chose this family, I continue. My voice cracks. Just slightly. I chose you. Jonathan is staring at the floor now. His shoulders are tight. I reach for the black box. It's small, about the size of a jewelry case, but heavier. I haven't opened it in 2 years. My fingers tremble as I lift the lid. Inside, a positive pregnancy test. A hospital bracelet dated March 15, 2021. And a handwritten note on cream-colored stationery, folded in half. Hannah's hands shake as I pass her the note. She unfolds it carefully, like it might disintegrate. Her eyes scan the words and I watch her face crumble. My ex-girlfriend Maria, I say quietly. We were together for 4 years. We were planning a family. She got pregnant 3 months before I met you at that fundraiser. Jonathan's head snaps up. What happened to the baby? I take a breath. The words still hurt. She had a miscarriage 2 weeks after I broke up with her. I ended things when I met your mother because I believed we could build something real. Something that mattered. Hannah is crying now. Real tears. Ethan, you never told me. I gave up a child, Hannah. A child. For a chance to be Jonathan's father. I look at the boy who's been testing me for 3 years, pushing boundaries, stealing, lying, waiting for me to snap. And you just threatened to have me arrested in my own home. The room falls silent except for Hannah's quiet sobs. I can see it now, playing behind my eyes like a movie I've tried to forget. Maria and me in that doctor's office, her squeezing my hand so tight it hurt. The ultrasound tech smiling. It's a boy. I'd already picked out names. Liam. Maybe Carter. Something strong. Then the phone call 2 weeks later. Maria's voice shattered on the other end. I lost him, Ethan. I lost our baby. I drove to her apartment, held her while she cried, but I knew I couldn't stay. I'd already met Hannah. Already started imagining a different future. I left Maria alone in her grief because I was chasing something I thought would hurt less. It didn't. Jonathan suddenly breaks. His voice cracks in that way only a teenage boy's can, somewhere between child and man. I stole the money on purpose. I wanted to see if you'd leave us like my dad did. Hannah gasps. Jonathan. He used to scream at me. Jonathan's face is red, tears streaming. He'd yell and throw things and then he'd apologize and disappear for days. I thought if I pushed you hard enough, you'd show who you really are. I kneel down to his level. My knees crack. I'm getting older. Because I'm not your father, Jonathan. I'm not James. And I never will be. The words hang there. Jonathan stares at me and for the first time, I see past the manipulation, past the tests, past the smirk. I see an 8-year-old boy hiding under his bed while his father destroys his mother in the next room. I see a kid who learned that love means pain and everyone leaves eventually. Hannah is shaking her head. No, no, no. She collapses into the chair across from me. James told me I was a bad mother. That I was too soft. When you raised your voice at Jonathan today, I heard him. I heard James. I panicked. She's sobbing now, full-body sobs that make her shoulders heave. I've been so scared of losing Jonathan to another man who might hurt him, I didn't see I was pushing away the one man who actually loved us. Her phone buzzes on the coffee table. What? Twice? 3 times. I walk over, pick it up. The screen shows a text from an unknown number. Heard you got a new husband. How long before he realizes what I did, that you're broken? My blood goes cold. Is James still in your life, Hannah? Her face drains of color. She can't look at me. He texted me last week. I scroll up. The messages go back months. Years. You'll never find someone better than me. You're damaged goods. Jonathan needs a real father, not whatever loser you settled for. How long before he leaves you too? How long has this been happening? My voice is ice. 3 years. Since before we got married. Jonathan's eyes are wide. Mom, you told me Dad stopped contacting you after the divorce. Hannah is shaking. I lied. I didn't want you to know that he still had this control over me. I set the phone down carefully because if I don't, I might throw it through the window. Why didn't you tell me? She reaches for my hand. I pull away. I need air. I grab my keys. Don't follow me. I walk out the front door into the cold evening. Behind me, the house is silent except for Hannah's crying. I drive for an hour. No destination. Just driving. My phone rings 4 times. Hannah. I don't answer. I end up at a park near the old apartment I lived in before I met her. There's a bench overlooking a pond where I used to sit and think about my future. What I wanted. Who I wanted to become. I pull up Marcus's text again. Still interested in the Singapore deal? My thumb hovers over the reply button. 3 months ago, I sat in this same park after another fight with Hannah. I called my therapist from my car, voice breaking. I keep sacrificing and it's never enough. When do I matter? She'd said something that stuck with me. When you decide you matter, Ethan. Boundaries aren't walls, they're foundations. I type out a response to Marcus. Maybe. Give me until Monday. Then I drive home. When I walk back inside, Hannah and Jonathan are sitting exactly where I left them. Waiting. Hannah's eyes are red and swollen. Jonathan won't look at me. I place 3 items on the table. First, a stack of papers. Adoption documents for Jonathan, already filled out, just missing signatures. Second, a business card for Dr. Sharon Reeves, family therapist. Third, a printed lease agreement for a 2-bedroom apartment 15 minutes from here. Here's the deal, I say. Jonathan, you apologize to me and your mother for the theft and the manipulation. You commit to weekly therapy. No negotiation. Jonathan nods, tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I stole the money. I'm sorry I lied. Mom, I'm sorry I've been awful to Ethan when all he's done is try to love us. I turn to Hannah. And you? She reaches for the adoption papers with shaking hands. What do you want me to do? I want you to decide if we're a real family or if I'm just a guest in my own house. Sign those papers, commit to couples therapy, or I'm moving out. I tap the lease agreement. I love you, Hannah. But I won't be invisible anymore. You have until Sunday at 6 p.m. Her face crumbles. Ethan, please? Sunday. 6 p.m. That's it. I walk to the bedroom and close the door. Friday afternoon. 4 p.m. We're sitting in Dr. Reeves's office. Me, Hannah, and Jonathan. The room smells like lavender and old books. Dr. Reeves is in her 50s, sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Jonathan, she says gently, why did you steal the money? Because I wanted proof he'd stay, Jonathan whispers. I wanted to see if he was like my real dad. She nods, then turns to Hannah. And why did you threaten Ethan? Hannah's voice breaks. Because I'm terrified of becoming my mother, staying with a man who hurts my child. I sit up straighter. Your mother? Hannah has never mentioned her mother beyond saying she passed away when Hannah was in college. She takes a shaky breath. My stepfather used to hit my brother. Not often. Just when he got stressed. My mother made excuses. He didn't mean it. He's under pressure at work. I screamed at her when I was 16. Told her she was choosing him over us. Hannah's crying now. She looked at me with these empty eyes and said, I have nowhere to go. I swore I'd never be her. Dr. Reeves slides the tissue box closer. Has Ethan ever hurt Jonathan? The silence stretches. No, Jonathan says finally. Never. Not once. He bought me a gaming PC last year when I didn't deserve it. He taught me how to drive even though I was awful at it. He's been more of a dad then. He doesn't finish the sentence. Then who are you really afraid of, Hannah? Dr. Reeves asks. Hannah looks at me. Really looks at me. Myself. I'm afraid I can't tell the difference between love and danger anymore. Sunday. 5:45 p.m. I'm sitting at the dining table with a packed suitcase by the door. Inside, clothes for 2 weeks, my laptop, toiletries. And underneath everything else, 3 wrapped presents for Jonathan's 15th birthday next month, a weekend getaway reservation confirmation for me and Hannah at a bed and breakfast she mentioned loving 2 years ago, and a framed photograph of the 3 of us from last Christmas. The front door opens. Hannah and Jonathan walk in together. Hannah is holding the adoption papers. They're signed. I can see her signature from here, shaky but present. I signed them, she says. Her voice is steady. And I called James. Told him if he ever contacts me again, I'm filing a restraining order. I blocked his number. All of them. I chose us, Ethan. I choose you. I don't react immediately. I'm staring at the papers, at her signature next to the line marked Mother. My name is already on the line marked Adoptive Father. Has been for 6 months. I filled these out the day after Jonathan told me he wished I was his real dad, then took it back an hour later. Jonathan steps forward and places $500 on the table. I earned this back. Mowed lawns all week. Mrs. Chin and Mr. Rodriguez helped me get jobs in the neighborhood. My eyes well up. I've been holding everything in for days and now it's all crashing down. Hannah kneels in front of me. I'm sorry I made you feel invisible in your own home. I'm sorry I let James control me even after he was gone. I'm sorry I didn't see what I had until I almost lost it. I stand up. Walk to the suitcase. Hannah's face falls. Ethan, please? I unzip it. Pull out the wrapped presents. The reservation printout. The framed photo. I packed hope, I say quietly. I wasn't running. I was preparing to fight for us or to let go with dignity. I look at both of them. You chose us. Now we build something real. Jonathan crashes into me first. His arms wrap around my waist, and he's crying into my chest like he's 8 years old again. Hannah joins us a second later, her arms around both of us. When I was 7, I was in foster care. 3rd family in 2 years. My foster dad, Mr. Peterson, taught me to fix cars in his garage. One day, hands covered in grease, he looked at me and said, "Family isn't blood, Ethan. It's who shows up." I was adopted by the Petersons when I was 14. At the ceremony, my new father handed me the certificate and said, "You're ours now. Forever." He died when I was 22. At his funeral, I found a letter in my jacket pocket that he must have slipped there. It said, "I chose you, son. And I'd choose you 1,000 times again." I looked down at Jonathan, then at Hannah. We start therapy this week. All of us. Together and separate. And Jonathan, you're grounded for a month for the theft. But after that, I take a breath. After that, we figure out how to be a real family. Not perfect, just real. Hannah nods. Real. Jonathan pulls back, wiping his eyes. Can I ask you something? Anything. Will you officially be my dad? Like legally? I look at the signed adoption papers on the table. Yeah, buddy. I already am.